Hello, I'm Lineke Lijn, and in this tutorial we're going to draw a portrait, and it will be loaded with tips and tricks how to set up a drawing for a portrait. I will be only using a filling pencil for this very detailed portrait. So I wish you all the luck with it and all the fun watching. Here you see my model, and his name is Enzo Knol. He is a famous person in the Netherlands, and I've had many requests to draw him. And what I did is I've printed out a black and white picture of this, because it's very important when you are drawing a person to have a black and white image. What I've done is I've measured out every line with my ruler. That was very boring to see, so I've drawn it already. So I've simply measured every line, and what I'm going to show you now is how I build up the face and the whole composition by drawing in shades, simply by hatching and cross hatching, so you get a nice portrait going. What I take especially care of is that I do not put in harsh lines. I make sure that I build up the whole face and the whole model with the shadings. When drawing a portrait, it's always a little bit, well, nasty, because people will always be looking over your shoulder and they will always go like, well, he doesn't look like it, or something like that. And it is really difficult, because when you place a shadow just wrong for half a millimeter or something, then you are already ruining your portrait. So build up your shadows as careful as you can. For this whole drawing, I'm using a filling pencil. That's nice and sharp, but you can also use a pencil that you've really sharpened really good, and then you can also make this drawing. I simply build up shades. It is like when you are a sculptor and a sculpturist, maybe you call it that way, I'm not sure. It's like sculpting a model. Hey, what you doing? Sorry folks, that's my cat. Where was I? Oh yeah, the model wears a cap, and I already place in a little bit of shadow, and you can see on the left side there's the most shadow. This is the headband, and that's quite dark. So what I'm doing now is I am figuring out where the darkest colors are. Also for the ears, I do not use any lines, but I simply build up dark shadows. Here on the upper lip, I only place in a little bit of shadow. So I do not draw in lips at all. I only build up lips by shading in. Underneath the cap there's quite a dark line, so I'm making a good use of those harsh lines. Here you can see the shadow on the inside of the mouth. And just underneath the top lip, I place a little bit of shadow. So I'm not drawing in lips at all, I'm only placing in the shadow. Also on the inside of the mouth and just underneath the teeth. So I do not draw in teeth, I only draw in the shadow. The same goes for the lower lip. I do not draw it in, I only place in the shadow, as with the nose. Once I have most of the face standing, I can concentrate on the rest of the drawing. My model is wearing a dark sweater with a logo. It's the logo of the YouTube channel he has in the Netherlands. And when I'm drawing a portrait like this, I want all the shades of gray, all the colors of gray to be in comparison to each other, so that not one gray stands out more than the rest. They have to be precise. I don't know how you call it, but they have to be not overwhelming. Here I draw in the hairs that just shine through the gap of the cap. On the right side you can see a little bit of shadow. As the light is coming from the right, I always keep notice of that. It keeps your drawing realistic. Underneath the chin, I also set in a rather dark shadow because he has an outstanding chin. So I have to place those shadows in. Here you see the dark line just underneath the cap. The cap has to be some kind of thick, and it should not look flat. Now it's time for the sweater. As I was saying, all the gray shades should be in comparison with each other, and also the logo I want to stand out on the front of the sweater. I use very simple lines just to decide how dark the sweater should be. Now it's time for the hand itself. He is sticking up with his thumb, and I'm placing the paper underneath my hand so I do not smear the drawing of the face that I already did. And here you can see the 4 fingers that are folded together and the thumb that is sticking up. Here you see the knuckles, I'll fold it here. You can see a little bit. Hey, what are my cats doing here now? They love this drawing. I don't know why, but they just want to see what I'm doing. Oh dear. Well, just ignore them and just keep drawing. That's the best way to treat cats, I think. This is the top of the hand, and that's casted a lot of shadow on it. And like I did with the face, I built up the hand also. So I draw in the shadows that are on the fingers and the darkest lines between the fingers. We'll zoom in even a little bit more so we can watch the hand with the thumbs up. Like in the face, on the left side of the hand there's the most shadow. Hello. I'm sorry, he's just enjoying this drawing immensely. I do not know why. So I keep building up the shadow that are on the hand, and on the left side of the thumb there's a really dark shadow. Here you can see the sleeve, and what I've also noticed that there's a lot of shadow on the sleeve itself that is casted by the hand. So now I draw in the darkness of the sleeve itself. You can see they are quite wild lines, if you like. But that is a way to keep your drawing open. What you also see is that when you use more wild lines in the clothes and the more fine lines in the face, you can see quite the difference between what is organic and what is not. Also, there are wrinkles, and that's of course because the hand is held up. The whole arm is way up high, and so there are wrinkles in the clothing, and I use that for the, well, it's a playful look for this drawing and the whole of the composition. You can see me here, I keep cross-hatching for the clothing itself. Here you see the wrinkles on top of the shoulder. I want to make use of that. I need it for the composition and the playfulness of the drawing. Here you see the top of the hand, the shadow underneath the hand. It's really dark, the darkest shadow in this case. And then you can move to the wrinkles of the clothing itself that is on the shoulder, on top of the shoulder. I want to exploit these to make my drawing look playful. Now that the sweater is as dark as it gets, I can adjust the darkness in the face. Here I can use a little bit more harsh line, and I can place that in now because the darkness of the sweater is already there. So now I dare to place in the darker spots in the face. Also for the eye. And the eyes, that's what I noticed. The white lights that are casted on the eyes are just over the pupils. So it's a bit tricky, but it works. Keep building up the shadows, and remember, you can always go darker. So build up your shadows as softly as you can and build it up, make it darker and darker as you move along. The logo is also important. And I'm using a little bit of pencil eraser here for the wrinkles that are in the clothing itself. Just a little bit. The right side can use a little bit more of gray. And the shoulder has to stand out a little bit more. I always keep looking when I'm drawing. Maybe it needs a little bit of more dark here or there. Here I want more darkness. I want that arm to stand out. So I draw in even a little bit of more gray in the left side. Here is a little camera that's also in the logo. So I also place it in. It's a little detail, but I need it for the fans of this nice boy that has a really nice YouTube channel here in the Netherlands. Here I place a little bit of more shadow, so it goes a little bit more fluid. It makes it a little bit more soft. And that will be, well, as good as it gets, I think. It's always difficult to draw a picture and it has to look like somebody. It's really difficult. And well, when I draw animals, they never come talk to me from, well, I think my hair looks different or it doesn't look like me at all. So animals are still my favorite, but I like this drawing too. Hope you learn a lot from the shading in. Wish you all the luck with it, and I hope to see you again in one of my other movies. Take care.